Hey YouTubers, in this video we're going to mount a fireplace mantle. So installing a mantle on this style of fireplace, this has been here since 1978. Whereabouts are the studs? I have no idea, but they're only 3/4 inch thick bricks. And of course we've got mortar in the wall here. They're in here somewhere. So that's what we're going to be looking for first, is to find the studs. I've tried using my stud finder. The challenge with the stud finder is every time I turn it on, it points to me and it goes off, so I got to stay focused and point it towards the wall in order to try to find where a stud may be. And you got to remember, I'm going through about 2 inches of brick and mortar in order to try to find a stud. So now I know I'm going to want my mantle about 54 to 64 inches high off the ground. So I don't want to drill in through a brick. One, it's going to be uneven, it's going to be very difficult, but the brick will end up cracking and spidering. So I've measured out where my and projected where my stud is going to be. I measured out both sides. Now I'm just wanting to know where the center is. So in between my two marks is 20.5 inches approximately. I'm going to know where the center is. So I'm looking at anchoring in it with at least 4, planning on that being enough to hold the weight of the mantle. Want to be careful when you're drilling in this area because obviously your flue is right there and you don't want to be poking any holes in it. I could spend all day trying to scan and put little dots and things like this, but it's now come to the point where I'm now going to do my probing and testing and find out where the studs are in the wall, and hopefully we'll be able to hit them bang on. So before we get started, I wanted to show you a quick difference between some of your drill bits that are out there on the market. This particular drill bit with a fancy little head on it is actually for cement and masonry work, and it's designed to push through the masonry versus a piece of wood where it's not going to be as effective. It'll end up just burning out trying to get through the wood. If we used a wood, this is a wood standard drill bit, and you can see the difference between the two. If you use this on mason, it'll go through the masoning, but again, it's going to end up dulling out your blade so that when it does try to get into the wood, it's not going to be as sharp and able to eat into the wood as easily. So we're going to be using a combination of the two on this project, one to get through the mason and then the other one to get through the stud on the other side. The other thing to keep in mind is the size of your threaded rod. Now I'm going to be only using about 7 inches here of this threaded rod. I'll be cutting that down, but again, you want it big enough, the hole big enough that the threaded rod is going to be going into, but not so big that it's going to be just flopping around like a fish out of water. So I'm just using a scrap piece of wood. I want to test that I've got the right size for the threaded rod before I'm working on the fireplace and drilling holes. It's a lot easier to get another drill bit that's bigger than it is to try to fill in this hole with more glue. So I want it in, but I don't want it too sloppy. And this is a little sloppy for me. So I'm going to actually change up my drill bit and go with a smaller size. So good thing I tested on this wood first before poking a hole in the wall. And that drill bit fits in there nice. It still feels a little wiggly, which is good because we're going to need the glue to get in around the threads in the wood, but we don't need it so wiggly that when we put the rod inside the hole of the stud that it ends up, I'm trying to make it level and it just won't hold. So I've got my mason bit on here. I've got my holes already marked out. I've got my fingers crossed. We're hoping we're going to find what we're looking for on the other side of this. So I'm not pushing all the way straight through. I know how thick the mortar is before I get to the wood, and feeling the drill will tell me that I've run into some wood here as well. All that masonry stuff, and winner, chicken dinner, I've got myself a stud there. My next one is over here with a big question mark because I don't know if I've guessed right, and then I'll continue down the line. And that is no. There's not a stud anywhere with that hole. So now I have to recalculate, figure out, try to where did they make the stud behind this wall. Okay, so as you can, for my test hole, there was no stud. I've taken a little piece of wire and hope maybe I was just off by 1 millimeter or so, but feeling all the way around, there is no stud anywhere within about 3 to 4 inches of this hole. Like there's no stud there. I'm gonna have to keep going and hope for the best. So again, success. I've hit a stud. Now we'll try the other spot. No stud behind it. But I'm going to use lots of glue to create a plug on the end of the threaded rod, and hopefully that'll work in between these two bricks to help support any weight. So the thickness of my mantle is 2 inches, so I'm just going to find out the halfway point. So the importance of the chalk mark is where I'm going to be drilling in my holes for the threaded rod. So this will be the side that's against the wall. So I'm going to measure from this side inwards and mark centers of where I'm going to be drilling my holes. Now I'm going to drill my holes for the threaded rod. Now when cutting the rods, it's not like wood where you can cut it in quite quickly. Metal, you want to take your time and have it cut in. Hey YouTubers, had a lot of fun making this video. If you liked it, give a big thumbs up. If you want to see more on how to stain the fireplace mantle, check out our video. And looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.